Does African tradition promote child marriage? Is ukuthwalwa in line with the constitution of the land? And what should happen to men who marry underage girls? Is the government doing enough to protect children from forced marriages or ukuthwalwa? What time is it? It's question time. Welcome to Question Time. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The 2015 Day of the African Child was observed under the theme 25 years after the adoption of the African Children's Charter, accelerating our collective efforts to end child marriage in Africa. This comes amid reports of increased incidents of girls being forced into marriages. Nelson Mandela once said, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Is South Africa protecting the girl child from ukuthwalwa? My guest is Chief Xolile, is the General Secretary of Contralesa. Chief, welcome to Question Time.
Thank you very much for welcoming me.
Now tell me, this whole notion or culture of ukuthwalwa, what is Contralesa's position?
Thank you very much for that question. Look, the issue of ukuthwalwa is an old practice. But as well, if you then talk of this institution that I represent, which is the institution of traditional leadership, it's also a constitutional institution. It's actually a Chapter 12 constitutional competence. So we have a responsibility to protect traditions, culture, and our customs, and also to promote them. But we condemn in strongest terms the issue of child abduction and child marriages, where an old man like myself would then abduct a young girl of 10, 15 years or 16 years, say he's making that child a wife. That's not supposed to happen.
But people are doing it in the name of culture and tradition.
Those people must be brought into book and be arrested,
but
because those people are criminals.
Is it not part of their culture?
No. Look, our culture in terms of what we're talking about,
yes,
is that we always say intombi is only intombi when she's 18 years and above.
Okay.
So anything below age of 18, we don't regard that as a matured woman who can be made umfazi in the next a few days.
Okay.
So we condemn those actions. If a person is actually taking a young girl of the age below 18, that's not right. That person must be arrested.
Okay. Let me remind you, as our viewers, that you can call us and air your views on the following numbers: 089-110-4210 if you're outside the borders, 00278911042110. On the line, we also have Mary Munonela from the Department of Social Development. Mary Munonela, welcome to Question Time. Perhaps the department's position, given the fact that this seems to be continuing, what has been your reaction?
Good afternoon. Well, let me say first that the department, first of all, we are taking it that this is not only a Department of Social Development problem. A child belongs to the society, and all government departments have a role to contribute in the development of a child to make a complete human being. And that's why, if you check first with the Department of Social Development measures that we had in place, we realized first that the implications of these children getting married early touches on, for example, their psychological well-being, their sexual reproductive health and rights, maternal mortality and child mortality, because in some cases all those babies also die very early, and the mothers sometimes, because of health complications, they die early. So we recognize and realize that we need the Department of Health. We need the police in some cases where people are forcing these children to get married, and sometimes, like the chief has indicated, they using culture, which is also wrong. So we realize when people try to hide against these kind of things, we also need the police. So the department has been coordinating these departments that are needed, that are necessary to make it to work. We have had an interdepartmental task team which is composed of SABC, which is composed of health, which is composed of home affairs, all those, the NPA, National Prosecuting Authority, so that we worked together to ensure that we create safety nets, and each department contributes their own part to make sure that we protect the girl child, who is most vulnerable in this case, unlike the older men that are perpetuating this.
Okay.
But also, as the department, we said these older men that are perpetuating this,
yes,
in some cases, they also need education. So as the department, we worked with the National House of Traditional Leaders and the provincial ones, especially in provinces where the practice was a little bit rife. So we worked with the Contralesa even over the weekend when we celebrated the Day of the African Child. The president of Contralesa, Khoshi Kamrao Tovejan, was also there to say, as Mahoshi, we condemn this thing where older men are doing this in the name of culture to hide behind it. So we have this team that worked together. Not only that, Mpo, we also brought on board, we have Chapter 9 institutions. We had the Human Rights Commission. You remember, in the Human Rights Commission, we have a commissioner who's responsible for children.
Yes, but Mamnonela, if I may just chip in there. Fact of the matter is, despite all these things that you have mentioned, this practice of ukuthwalwa is continuing.
Paul, you are very right. It is continuing because there are people that are colluding. You find that we do admit that there are correlation issues at play here. For example, poverty. We are not justifying what is happening, but we are saying we are aware that in as much as government speaks about the triple challenges, poverty being one of them, and inequality, of course, in the way we treat girl children. But we take note that poverty plays a major role. Some of the parents are colluding in this practice.
Okay.
I have been part of conducting workshops in such areas where, as we promote girls' education movement, parents will stand up and say to me, "You are talking like this because you are okay. We are hungry. Okay. There's nothing to eat." So if the child can have, and in some cases this thing's being done by professionals, and the parents are looking at that person providing some money at the end of the month to the family, because if he takes the child, the deal is
okay.
Still help them.
All right, hold it there, Mamnonela. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion, and I would like to urge you to give us a call on 089-110-4210 or 002789-110-4210. This is Question Time. Please don't go away.
for thought. In the words of Ray Davis, remember, a challenge only becomes an obstacle when you bow to it.
Of dedication and perseverance, Abayani Maitakore made history as one of South Africa's best performing matriculants of 2014, attaining 7 distinctions.
I believe that nothing should stand in your way if you see yourself in the future doing something great. So I just carried on and I never gave up. Though the circumstances I faced were challenging, I love challenges. So I was like, yeah, man, bring it on. I can do it.
Join me, Refiwe Mwiba, on Bophelong, your show about those who take on and conquer life's challenges, every Saturday at 17:30.
One of the things that I want people to do when they come to the exhibit is to see what an incredible work the Migration Series is.
Fami's work has also been featured at London and New York Fashion Week and in collaborations with leading international designers. Tunisia is listed as one of the top 20 destinations for 2015 by the National Geographic Traveller.
There are lots and lots of children who are going to be learning Xhosa as a second language, and Oxford University Press is about supporting language.
Join Musam Khalipi on Afro Showbiz every Saturday at 19:30 CAT.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is Chief Xolile Ndevu, who is the General Secretary of Contralesa, and also on the line we have Mandela, who is the Chief Director at the Department of Social Development. But before we go into the second part of our discussion, let's take a look at what the President had to say about ukuthwalwa.
The theme for this year's Day of the African Child is, quote unquote, 25 years after the adoption of the African Children's Charter, accelerating our collective efforts to end child marriage in Africa. The AU chose this theme in order to intensify efforts of ending child marriages in many parts of the continent, including our own country, where such practices still happen through customs such as ukuthwalwa.
That was President Zuma. Now, Chief, the Sowetan reports that last Thursday, KwaZulu-Natal police arrested the father of a 14-year-old girl and a 27-year-old man who had paid 15 ship for her to be his wife. Is the law tight enough to protect victims of this operation?
Look, I suppose there might be some gaps in our legislations governing these whole practices, but the fact of the matter is, at some stage, people that are breaking the law must be arrested. We cannot afford to have criminals who perpetuate criminal elements shielding themselves about tradition. That's not right. It's more like when you talk about a subject that talks about initiation schools, where you'd find criminals going to the initiation schools and stab people there, beat people there to death, and then at the end of the day, you find people saying, "Abantu bayafa emabhomeni," and yet those are criminals. So it's the same as the issue of ukuthwalwa. If a person, old man like you and me, would then take a young child, 10, 15-year-old, to men's umfazi. In the first place, umfazi, when she's getting officially married, uyayalwa. And then umyala kanjani umntwana 15 years? How do you do that? Is he able to listen to those izyalo?
Mandela, in another case, it is reported here, a 12-year-old girl was involved with a 29-year-old man who impregnated her. Subsequently, the man's family paid a cow and a goat for damages. However, she reported the matter to the police and the man was arrested. However, he was later released on 2,500 bail on the basis that they were in a consensual relationship despite the girl being far below the age of consent. This is reported in today's Sowetan. What do you say to that?
Thank you. Mpho, as I indicated earlier on, there's a lot of part of what we are doing. We are ensuring that people are educated and they understand. We want to protect children, and we also want to promote human rights and ensure that children enjoy being children and they are able to lead a healthy and normal child and grow up well. But we are also saying parents in some cases are contributing. The business where we always say the parents must come on board, because in some cases when the relationship starts, children trust parents to the extent that they know the parents will look also to the best interest of the child. So when a child is in that kind of a relationship, parents speak to her and the child does not listen, the social workers come on board also and try and talk to the child, because sometimes the mind frame of where that child is, combined with other socio-economic problems that the family might be going through, it's important. And so at some of the interventions that we bring, I've heard about that case, but I can also confirm that our social workers were also on board. They talk to the child and they talk to the older men also, to make sure that there is understanding. This is the breaking of the law.
Okay.
So I'm just saying in such cases, because children also look at, the materialist elements that our society promotes so much. You find that children are looking at, he will buy me this, he will buy me that. That's why I was saying to you earlier on that the issue of poverty needs to be addressed very rigorously.
Okay, yes? Hold the thought there. I need to take a call. Khanyani, you are in the Free State. Khanyani?
Good evening, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for asking.
I'm good. I just want to maybe pose a question, especially to the chief with you.
Yes.
Since the practice of ukuthwalwa has been there in Africa the whole throughout, as much as we condemn it because of obviously brutality and not so right to children, when was it right, or when is it really right to practice ukuthwalwa? Because it has been there, it's been practiced, but in which fashion do we consider it correct, perhaps?
Okay. Indeed, Chief.
No, yeah, it's a very, very good question. Maybe I need to unpack this notion of ukuthwalwa as to how it comes about. Ukuthwalwa, it's where two parties come into agreement. It starts off from negotiations from both families. And then from that, it then escalates to the young people themselves, the two people that are going to marry. And then you find an agreement at that level. And then the element of ukuthwalwa will come when now this girl will be maybe sent to Kwadadobao or a shop somewhere. And then the family of the boy is told that the girl will be on his way to a shop somewhere. So you will find him walking there, so you bring him home. That comes with Indoba Kudala. Amantombazana used to feel proud of themselves. It was more like building.
So she must be stolen.
She must be stolen in a way, though she understands that she knows that at this day I'm going to be taken to that particular house, so that she remains a woman who still, preserve the element of being a woman.
Now, where does this element come from, where people have to be taken by force and are underage?
You know, this goes back to what I said earlier on, that there are people who criminalizes the very good practices that have been happening for some time in this country. But now, there are people now who tend to undermine all those good processes and then feel that they can just do as they are pleased.
So it means that as chiefs, you are not doing enough to say not in our name, because you are the custodians of traditions and culture.
Well, you may say so, but the truth of the matter is that, you know, we don't walk around with these people. You know, we will say all what we need to say in our own amakhutlas, in our own big meetings, in our own imbizos.
Yes.
But then at the end of the day, we are not staying with these people in their own households. So a person will go and commit crime. And then at the end of the day, later on, we are able to understand that so-and-so has committed such a crime in my own village. Then I will deal with that person, because we have our own ways of dealing with those issues in our own amakhutlas.
Okay. Eunice, you are in Tshwane.
When we grew up, go the research the immunization in my culture, how now with developments, look, we shall no life is supposed to be lost. So my suggestion is how would you do the research? And then immunization.
Okay.
So I go champion culture, but I go level culture.
Okay. Well, basically what Eunice is saying is that can we take decisions based on research if all these traditions and cultures that we're talking about are on the other end transgressing on other people's rights, therefore we need to do away with that?
No, we must, by all means, we must do away with the element of saying when something goes wrong in our own practices. See, Velenje, quickly city, let's do away with. Let's find ways of managing issues, because you must understand now that we are dealing with people abangasamamili.
Okay.
People of today are not like the olden people where they were, harsh, rules and stuff.
Okay. Mandela, a very quick one. What can we expect from the department in as far as this particular issue is concerned? Very briefly.
We have adopted the AU campaign to end child marriage in Africa, as we were doing over the weekend. So with that, we are also strengthening our own national policies. We are looking at the Children's Act also to add some of the regulations that will strengthen the gaps that are there.
Okay.
There has been some little bit of research that was done. In 2010, I believe it was with the Commission on the Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Rights.
Okay. Thank you.
A lot of education also is needed to both parties.
All right, Mandela, thank you very much. On that note, a lot of education needed to both parties. That was question time for today. We've run out of time. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. Let's meet again tomorrow when we'll be talking to the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. A very good evening to you. Goodbye.
farmer, fire sometimes epitomizes a new beginning, purifying and cleansing the ravages of winter. With the help of the Children of Fire, Mita is now a social worker manager and helping other survivors to unleash their potential.
People should just allow people who are disabled or disfigured or whatever to be who they are.
Now happy and a bit more confident, Ntabi Singh helps around at the Children of Fire with chores.
People must come with a full heart to give, not to do the selfie, ach shame, here's me and a burn kit.
Join me, Refilwe Muiba, on Bophelong every Saturday at 17:30.
South Africa is the third leading country globally in TB infections.
We have 9 million new cases occurring globally, and 30% of those cases are occurring in the African region.
And there are two broad kinds of drug-resistant TB, so to speak. The one is MDR TB, and the other is XDR TB.
To ensure that everyone who's diagnosed with TB is tested for HIV.
There's grossly inadequate funding for TB, vaccine, drug and diagnostic research. We need a lot more.
Join me on Health Talk every Saturday morning between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. as we unpack current health stories.
Nelson Mandela keeping a watch over a myriad of statues, from generals and presidents to literary figures and humanitarianists. More recently, those who fought for freedom.
So there's no need to destroy. If at the end of the day, the statue has to be removed from where it is, it would be removed.
President Jacob Zuma and his counterpart will witness the signing of a number